Okay, we have another Epiphone Les Paul Jr. on the bench today. And this one, I'm going to not be keeping it stock like the other one that I had. This one is going to get quite a few upgrades and some modifications to it. So, first thing that I want to do is I want to check the output of the humbucker that is currently in this model. And this model doesn't have any of its tone knobs. It doesn't have any of the strings on it. So I'm curious about what this humbucker is. Holy moly, we're getting a 15.2 reading on that humbucker. So that humbucker is not going to stay in this guitar, but I am definitely going to be keeping it for anything else. Some other project where I want a really hot humbucker. 15.2, my goodness. That is exceptionally hot. I mean, that's as hot as, almost as hot as any Seymour Duncan humbucker you're going to get. That's nearly as hot as an Invader or anything else that they have. That is very hot. So now that we've checked the output of the humbucker, let's look over the guitar a little bit. All right, we have our strap buttons. We have the wraparound tailpiece, which I'm replacing with a Wilkinson wraparound tailpiece. This tailpiece by Wilkinson is compensated just like this, but rather than just having a raised compensated edge, it actually has grooves for the string to sit on in the compensated areas. These don't have grooves, so they usually nick and something gets, chewed into the top of the bridge, and that can nick a string and do all kinds of things, and they're just not the best anyway. So this one is compensated. It has the grooves. You can see the groove where the strings will sit. And it also has grooves where it's going to wrap around so that it is not, such a rough break angle where there's grooves. See, there's nicks here where the strings have dug in as they've wrapped around. So this will avoid all of that nonsense. Okay, so that is one of the upgrades it's getting. Another upgrade it's getting is the bar style vintage tuners with the plastic oval knobs on them, like they would have came on the original Les Paul Juniors. This has a plastic square plate for the jack. So I got a plastic square plate, but one that is going to match this humbucker pickup ring, which is like cream colored. Let's talk about this nut. This was interesting when I first saw the photos of this guitar on OfferUp. Someone created this nut out of wood. This is like really cheap wood. It feels like the same kind of material that it's like spongy wood. I don't know what it is, but they cut it and they put it into, I'm going to adjust some lighting so you can see it better. They put this nut in there and they cut grooves in it, and wood piece of nut. It's not hard, it's soft. So who knows what that did to the tonal qualities. Now, do I think it's cool in a retro vintage aesthetic? Sure, yeah. I mean, that's some kind of makeshift thing that some blues guy would have done way back in the day just to get by and keep playing. But, ugh, we're going to take that out. It was held in by some kind of yellowish, clear adhesive. I might need to dig some of that adhesive out of the groove. And this makeshift wood nut is going to get replaced with a bone nut. I just had it a second ago. Where did it go? Here it is. So, pure cattle bone nut. So it is getting a real bone nut in it. I have a wiring kit for Les Paul Jr. that I am going to put in here, and I am going to be doing the 1950s style wiring on it, which is a little bit different than the modern wiring, and it gives you kind of a neat range of control back and forth between volume and tone. I don't know how best to describe it. Maybe I'll make a video on 50s wiring later, or I'm sure there are plenty of videos online about vintage 50s wiring for these that you could look up and do some research on. But that is what's going to be happening. This is a StewMac kit. You can see it comes with the orange drop. It comes with the cloth covered wire. And I might be upgrading the strap buttons. I'm not sure about that. Changing them to a different color. And the knobs. I don't know what I'm going to do as far as knobs go. I have a few choices. I have these really cool amber colored ones that might look really nifty. I kind of like that. Or I also have some gold ones that have the reflective gold top, where they, it says volume on the top, but that top part, instead of being chrome, is also gold. So I don't know which knobs I'll choose. We'll find out later. That will come later. And then I have a really nice brown leather strap for it as well. Now the pickup that's going to be going in here, I decided, since it has the cream colored pickup ring, that I wanted to go with a zebra, and this is a Wilkinson. This is Alnico 5, vintage voiced, overwound. So I've used these in a few other projects. I just really like them. And since it has the cream pickup ring, I thought that would look good, the zebra in its position. What is the output of this? That's a good question. Let's find out, shall we? Yeah. So, the output of one of these is... It's hard to do this. Oh my goodness. Maybe there's a way I can... Alright, the output of one of these is 14 even, so I'm not dropping too much output. 14 even. Oh, it's bouncing around, but that's because I'm moving. There, it stays steady at 14 even. So it's not dropping too much output. However, it is lower, which I kind of want on something like this. I want a lower bit of output. And not only do I want a little bit lower bit of output, I want something that's going to sound a little bit more vintage. So the Alnico 5 pickups are going to give me the tonal qualities that I want from it. Now, because it is overwound, that's probably why it's getting that higher reading, but that's fine. I want something, I want to turn this into a blues rock machine, you know. One other thing that is coming that I don't have yet is the pick guard. Now, this one's warped. It's warped upward. It has a weird hump right here. But the pick guard that I got is going to be a 3-ply tortoise shell. I don't know if it'll look good. I imagine it will in my head. I think it, you know, it's going to add a cool characteristic to it that I want on this guitar. If not, I always have the original black that I can go back to. But we'll see. Now, speaking of this pick guard and that warp I just noticed, that bubble, I see that all the pickup scratches, all the scratches from the picks on the pick guard, they're going at an angle this way, you know, as this arm stretches down. So this tells me that the player that had this before probably strung it very low, like Green Day status low. And when you string a guitar where the body's low, to have some ability of play, you know, you have to, it goes at an angle so that the neck is up here while the body's low, so that you can at least somewhat control your playability up here. And so when it's at that angle hanging low and you're strumming, you know, that's, I'm guessing that this was probably a power chord strummer. That's why you're getting that angled scratches on the pick guard. Other than that, this guitar seems to be in very good shape. What? There's a postage stamp. USA 2-cent Navajo jewelry postage stamp from 2006. If it survives the cleaning and polishing, I'm going to keep it there. That's interesting. All right. And it looks like it might have a serious shim in the neck. The neck angle, if I can get this, you're able to see it. The neck angle is going down quite a bit. So I don't know if that's the way that the neck is made or if there's some serious shimmage going on. It might be that that's just the way that it has to be, because this pickup sits really high, and so the bridge has to sit above it and go like that. So we'll see how everything turns out. But the headstock's in pretty good shape. There's just one little nick on the back right there. The body has some wear right there. Everything else is things I can get rid of for the most part. There's some water spots on it. You know, white scuff marks that can easily be buffed off. As far as where the wood color is on this burst, there's no real serious scratches. I see some little ones here and there, but I mean, I'm gonna polish this and get it looking good. So I guess the first thing that we need to do is check the straightness of the neck. And wow. It has a serious back bow because it's rocking in the middle. So let's take off the truss rod cover. And you know, the other Les Paul Jr. that I, you know, kind of restored back to its stock condition, but I fixed it up, cleaned it up, gave it a setup and strings. I really liked it, and I find myself, it's hanging in my living room, and I find myself picking it up and playing it quite a bit. I have a lot of guitars hanging in my living room, but that one, I just like picking it up and playing it. It's a really good player, and it feels really good. And you know, speaking of that, I find myself anytime I'm just recording some instrumental tracks, I keep finding myself picking up my Epiphone Les Paul Special 2. And I really, really like it. I've been enjoying that guitar quite a bit, picking it up more so than any of my other guitars. I've been a Strat guy my whole life. And I'm sure if you've seen this video how many Strats I've worked on. My whole life I've been a Strat guy. And you know, I have some actual like full-size Les Paul-like guitars, but that Les Paul Special I keep coming back to. It's just such a great little guitar, especially for if I'm just hooking into my Mac and doing some recording on GarageBand. The simplicity of it, I guess, you know, you have both pickups so you can get the tonal qualities of both, and 2 knobs, and I did a really good setup on it, and so it just feels really good to play, and it just feels really good in my hands, like the thickness of the body and the weight. It's such an awesome little guitar. You know, and I have a lot of cheap guitars, but I also have a few expensive guitars, and that one, I just keep coming around to playing it. It's such a good little guitar. I should pull out the Special 1 later and see. It's been in a case since I got it and fixed it up. I haven't really taken it out of its case, but I might play with that. The Special 2, I pick up and play so much because my feelings won't be hurt about it if it gets damaged or stolen. So like in my gig bag, I'm able to throw my Mac, my audio interface, and my headphones, so I can take it anywhere to go recording. And yeah, I love it. My feelings won't be hurt if something happens to that guitar. I'll miss it, sure, but my feelings would be much more hurt taking the Special 1 that has the Gibson on the truss rod cover. I really like that one, and it's a little bit rarer than the Special 2. The Special 2 you can find anywhere. But yeah, that guitar, those guitars specifically, I've been really enjoying picking them up and playing with them. So and the Junior in the living room I've been enjoying. So let's see if we can make this one equally as enjoyable and fun to play. All right. Loosen this truss rod. Sometimes it's hard to get this little Allen key in there. Now let's see where we're sitting at. Okay, we're sitting right where we want to be. Let's tighten it up. Tighten it up and it pulls down. So let's go back this way. We're almost right where we want to be. I see a little bit of light shining through on this bar on the 2nd fret. Man, tight fit, but that's what you want, because you want to use the right tool. You don't want one that's too loose. There it is, flat. Flat. That's where we want it. Okay, now, neck is straight. What was that? Neck is straight. 2nd step. Let's rock these frets. Rock them. right away on the 2nd fret. There's just a little bit. Can you hear that? It's not on the bass side, it's in the middle and on the treble. Good there. Let's see here. All right, time to flip it. Man, if it's only the 2nd fret, I'll be happy because I'll just be able to address that 1 fret and I won't have to do a full level. All right, we gotta flip it again. Up. What is that, the 10th fret kind of in the middle? It's just a little bit. It's so small. It's like I almost don't want to address it, but I do like playing lower action strings, and having 1 fret that just peeks its head up above the others can... So we said 2nd and 10th. 2nd and 10th. Up. 12th on the treble. 13. All right. Surprisingly, up here, everything's good. Okay. Well, we know it was this one. We know it was this one. And we know it was this one. 3 of them. I'm just going to address these frets individually rather than doing a whole level crown. But in order to do that, oh, don't I have a Sharpie in here? Here we go. We're going to mark them. Let's double check that these were the ones that were giving us trouble. Yep. I'm looking at this guitar and it looks like it's definitely had the frets taken care of at some point. Someone who's owned this guitar has done fret end work because these are looking good and they're not sharp. Not sharp. And they definitely have that rolled off edge. All right, 12th fret up here. There was another one I feel like. Oop, there's a nick in that fret too, so definitely want to take that down. Okay. Is there any others? All right, I think that's it. 2nd fret. Boop. All right, let's get to, oh, where's my block? All right, sanding block is gone, MIA. Where are you, sanding block? Are you over here? No. Uh-oh. Time for a new sanding block. Nope, I just put it away in the wrong spot. So this is 400 grit that I'm starting out with. That brought it down. Let's check it. Still a little bit of rock. Little bit of rock. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that was 400. Let's just polish it up. Let's do a couple passes of the 600. Okay, to the 1000. To the 1200. And I got a little bit of the fretboard there, but that's okay because we're actually going to be doing the fretboard with some steel wool because it's grimy. It's a grimy fretboard, and it has some, places that probably need to be just polished up and whatnot. Okay, 400. $600. $1,000. Well, we're getting close in here. The frets are getting smaller. $1,200. Where'd that rocker go? All right, let's see here. That's what I'm talking about. Sorry, I get a little excited when things go good. When I'm working on a guitar, I get excited and I have to censor myself because I use obscene language. I'll say fudgin', except it wasn't fudge. I said the other word, the mother of all bad words. Little Christmas Story reference if you didn't catch on. Or if you never saw that movie, you definitely should see it. It is a Christmas classic. Years ago, I got a Red Ryder for Christmas, and this year we just got my stepson a Red Ryder for Christmas after introducing him to the movie. And we do target shooting together out in the backyard. He's starting to like doing a lot more male bonding type activities, and I'm really digging it. So I took him fishing for the first time, and he caught his first fish, rainbow trout. To be fair, it was a rainbow trout farm that gives you, a bamboo pole with a string, a treble hook, and a little glob of dough bait, But that was his first experience. So sometime I'll have to take him up to the lakes in northern Arizona and do some real fishing where it will require more patience. But for his first time, it was fun. The youngest girl also caught her first fish that day, and they had a wonderful time. It was in Sedona, Arizona as well, in Oak Creek. So you have the beautiful canyon walls that are red going up above the trees surrounding this beautiful little pond oasis. And it was a wonderful day with the family, and the two youngest caught their first fish in Sedona, surrounded by the red canyon walls. So if you're in Arizona and you're going to Sedona, there is, I think it's just called Sedona Rainbow Trout Farm. There's only one up there, so go check it out. And it's a fun day. They also, if you want them to do it for you, you bring your fish back and they will gut them and prepare them as well. And you can buy some foil, lemon, onion, whatnot, and they have grills around the park, propane grills and picnic tables, so you can grill them there and enjoy them there. So I usually just have them do the, throw them on ice, and I'll take them home and I clean them, or I'll have them clean them, and then I take them home on ice. But either way, that's how we do it whenever we go there. But as I was saying, enjoying fun activities with the step kids and giving them fun memories and experiences. Now, the oldest we didn't take fishing, the one that I'm teaching guitar, because she, I don't know, someone convinced her to be a vegan. Animal lover, I get it. Someone convinced her to be a vegan, but we're having to convince her to stop being a vegan, because she's not actually being a vegan. She's just being a carbaholic. If you know anything about trying to be a vegan, you have to be able to eat a variety of foods, even if you don't like them, to get the nutrients you need. And unfortunately, she's a picky eater and also wants to be a vegan, which doesn't work, because you can't just survive off of ramen and bread products. So she's expanding her horizons with things like egg, which is a harmless crime. Chicken's gonna lay eggs as long as they're alive, and that egg would have never become a chicken because there's no rooster involved. So we're trying to get her to expand her horizons, but that is why she did not come fishing with us. But she's the guitar player, and she's learning a few things. I'm teaching her, starting out with a few chords, D, E, and A. And from there, also the E pentatonic run, which is going to give us rumble. It's going to give us AC/DC's Back in Black, so that's the starting point. And she's going to go to a few concerts this summer with Mom and I, and she's excited about that because she's not been to a concert yet. So for her first concert, considering her aesthetic as she likes, and girl power, and she's into skateboarding. I just bought her a new skateboard because her cheap old one that she's had kind of has seen the last of its days. It's broken. So I got her a new skateboard, and she's picking up guitar. So one day, this Christmas, I got her a record player, and so one day this year I just dropped Avril Lavigne's first album there in her room, and she got super excited to pick up the guitar again, which is what I was hoping. I hoped that she would see herself in Avril Lavigne's aesthetic and the whole skateboarding, guitar, kind of punk rock girl thing, and it did. It did exactly what I hoped it would. She saw herself in that and got excited and picked up the guitar and started pretending to play. So, Avril Lavigne is doing her greatest hits tour this summer, and I surprised her by getting her tickets, and so she's excited for that. So, I don't care what your opinion about Avril Lavigne is. She's getting a young girl into playing guitar. She's inspiring a woman to pick up a guitar, and she is an awesome figure in the realm of females in rock and roll, regardless of what you think. Get Skater Boy out of your mind, and if you've ever heard a lot of her other stuff that isn't a radio hit, she's quite the singer-songwriter, more along the lines of like an acoustic artist than she is what the mainstream perception of her is. So yeah, we're almost done here. Just got to give these some test rocks to make sure we're even. I feel like that one needed a little bit more. How are we doing there? All right, that's going to change when we crown it, so we're good. It was so minimal that crowning it's going to do what we need it to do. You know, quite a bit of these look like they need a crowning. They're all flat on top, even though I didn't level all these. So it looks like maybe someone gave them a level but never crowned. Maybe that's why a lot of them were dead on, no rock. So we'll just go over them lightly to give them a little bit of a crown. Now, speaking of Avril Lavigne, one of the guitars that is in a previous video is the Avril Lavigne Signature Telecaster. And since it has a single humbucker and a three-way switch, being that it's a Telecaster, it does a neat coil split thing where the center position is the humbucker, but tip it towards the body, and it is the bridge half of the humbucker. Tip it towards the neck, and it's the neck half of the humbucker. Really cool. Tonal differences are small, but they're there, so it's kind of cool to play around with. But that guitar I got because it was a screaming deal, and one of the kids that I do work for on their guitars made me aware of it, and so I picked it up and did a little setup on it and stuff. And if the kid, meaning the stepdaughter, continues, and once she's good enough, after getting the guitar that I built for her, meeting the requirements to earn the guitar that I built for her, maybe she'll inherit the Avril Lavigne Telecaster if she keeps pursuing music. So along the lines of children and music, the stepson, since I met him and he knew that he could talk to me about music, has always expressed an interest in drums. Lucky enough, I have an electric drum kit, and I've been teaching him basic drumming. And unbeknownst to him, I actually have a full kit, like drum kit, not electric, traditional drum kit, boxed, waiting for his birthday once he gets better and keeps practicing the drums. But next year, he goes into 5th grade, I believe, and he's able to, in 5th grade, start taking drum at school. Now, I imagine it might be drumline or something like that, or percussion, but if it's traditional drums, like rock and jazz, that's awesome. I know with the oldest stepdaughter, she goes into high school next year, and she has guitar class. They have guitar class in high school, and didn't even know about. Mom and I didn't know about it. 8th grade class was able to go to the high school and do kind of like a tour of like, this is what's to expect next year, and you were able to sign up for your elective classes right then and there. I didn't even know that, and just one day she dropped it on us that she signed up for guitar next year, and I was just like, oh, that's awesome, like proud moment right there. So really makes me happy there that music is coming back into schools. So if you come across any charities like Rock the Arts and things like that, donate to them. Get music back in schools. As cool as marching band is and stuff, and you can learn some really great things from marching band or just band in general, you know, saxophone, violin, whatever it is, those are all awesome, and you can really learn music theory when you're doing that, and things that will stick with you the rest of your life. Travis Barker took drum in high school, and he uses those things that he learned in drumline today while he's rocking out. So even any kind of music class is good. I'm just shocked as heck that they have guitar class, and I found out from one of the kids that I do work on at his old high school in the town over that the guitar class was teaching them how to play guitar or bass, and then possibly even drums. I think they had, because they had a drummer, but they would have to build bands every so often, every couple like month or so. They'd build a band, get a couple songs together, and like have a battle of the bands. Like, how awesome is that? That's what schools are like today. God, I wish I was a kid again and could go through all that. All right, we're looking good. Put the rocker down, put the crowner down. Let's get some steel wool and make a mess. You want the finest steel wool that you can get when you're doing this. Anything else is going to leave you with scratches. But if you have the finest steel wool that you can get, you can even do the fretboard. I wouldn't recommend it on a laminate, like a laminated like gloss board, but if it's rosewood like this, or any kind of rosewood alternative, you know, the finest, I'm seeing all this dust coming up from this, but the finest steel wool that you can get you can actually go over and clean up your fretboard and your frets at the same time, and it will get off all the gunk in there and kind of polish that fretboard and get it ready for a good oiling. These frets are looking shiny. Also, if you were doing any kind of fret work and, you gave the fretboard a nice scrape, doing this will work it out and get rid of that scratch that you gave your fretboard. All right, we made a mess. There's a lot of dust. Let's put the sanding block in its home so I don't have a little mini panic attack next time I want to use it. All right. Well, we have so much hardware to replace. I'm a little overwhelmed on where to start. So I guess let's take off the pickup ring. Nice, they give you a nice long bit of wire there. A lot of wax on the back of this pickup. It is Epiphone branded. Man, I tell you what, the Epiphone pickups and all these cheap Epiphones that I've gotten have been very hot, very high output. So if you are wanting an affordable guitar with high output that you can, I don't know, you want to do rock, you want to do metal, you want to do punk rock, I'm starting to think that the Epiphone Specials, anything like this, is a good, cheap alternative. You don't need an expensive guitar, especially if you're just gonna drown it in distortion. Spend your money on a better amp and get an affordable guitar like this, and then find someone that knows what they're doing to give you a good setup on it so that it plays better. I'd say go to get I don't want to say the word GC. It's the Center for Guitars. They're gonna overcharge and they're gonna kind of give you a one-size-fits-all setup, and they're gonna nickel and dime you for anything else you want. So I'd try to avoid going to places like that. If you can find a local music store, guitar shop, get someone who is gonna go a little extra for you and won't charge you an arm and a leg just to get it as good as it can be, and then nickel and dime you from there. But get one of these guitars and get yourself a decent amp. And they have really high output pickups. If you're just using it to play loud music, they're great, man. And it won't hurt your feelings for them to drop because they're affordable. And you can upgrade them as well over time. They're a great starting platform. Get them set up. I can't stress that enough. Get a good setup for better playability. And then, you know, make awesome, fun music with them. And upgrade things over time. You know, cheap upgrades. If you got an Amazon account, you can find accessories for whatever model you're looking for. You want to get better tuners? As I say that, here's a loose tuner. Good thing these are getting replaced. But you want to get better tuners? You can get better tuners. And get them relatively affordable. You want to get a better pickup? You can get a better pickup. If you don't know how to do the work yourself, you can find someone who does. And just upgrade what you have and keep working with it. And they'll be a great guitar, man. If you just want to make loud music, I can't think of anything better. The high output pickups, the body's nice and thin. It's like a, you know, like a Strat, and the weight is good. And they just keep putting these screaming demon humbuckers in all of them. You know, the humbuckers that they put in a humbucker Strat, they're low output, and they're also not giving you a 500K potentiometer in them. I've had a few of them, and you know, the Squires and the Starcasters, whatever, anything that's HSS. They're not giving you a 500K potentiometer for that humbucker, and that humbucker's low output. So that's not your loud music guitar. Also, anything with a tremolo bridge you don't want to use for heavier style gauges. You're going to have to add springs to it. If you ever want to alternate tunings, go back and forth between tunings, don't do it with a tremolo bridge. I just, you know, cool kid. I did work on his made in Mexico silver Fender. He put a Black Winter Seymour Duncan humbucker in it, but he put heavier string gauges on it, and we had to put some extra springs in it, and we had to keep adjusting the springs and the tension, because if he was going to go into a lower tuning and a higher tuning, you know, it's pulling the bridge up. So we just had to make sure whatever the standard E was decked, because at that point he could go lower and everything's good, and he wants to go back up to standard E, it's not going to pull the bridge forward. So, you know, this is a fixed bridge, and this is what you want. You want to do some alternate tunings, this would be a great guitar. This or the Epiphone Special 2s. Okay, so this is our wire, and we want to, you know what we want to do? I know what we want to do. What we want to do is undo these, because they're not staying in there. We're putting a wiring kit in there. When I say a kit, it's not pre-wired. I'm going to have to solder everything. And you'll have to tell me in the comments if you like this style video where I'm actually talking to you through the processes. This is going to be a longer video, just because I'm not speeding up the footage. And I'm talking to you. Yeah, you, the viewer. You've become my therapist. I've told you so much. I feel really close to you. Let's see how they had this wired. So, it does not look like they had the 50s style wiring. But to make sure, let me pull up a wiring diagram of the 50s style wiring. Boom. Les Paul Jr. wiring. Okay, oh, there's such a thing as 60s wiring too. Interesting. Okay. 50s wiring. Signal, output, center, that's normal, yep. Middle is going to input. Okay, so they did this standard modern wiring. Now, I have the option for 60s wiring or 50s wiring. I've heard so much about the 50s wiring, I want to do the 50s wiring. I'm very curious about what 60s wiring is. There's just one change. It's where the capacitor for the tone knob goes from the center position on the potentiometer. No, I'm sorry, on the 60s wiring, it goes from just where it's at here on the, I guess it depends on what you're looking at. If I'm looking at it like this, the bottom plug, and goes to the bottom plug on the right across. Huh. I'm not gonna bore you. I'll throw up this diagram. It's a 3-piece diagram, modern 60s, 50s. I'll throw it up, and it'll be right here along the side, and you'll see the differences, and you can screen cap it, and or you could just Google image search for yourself, like I did. Since we're not keeping any of this in here, we don't need to heat up that, no need to heat up the soldering iron yet. Let's just give it all a snippity snip. All right. Snippity snip. Snap. 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 All right, we have two 500K potentiometers for a project that I'll keep with the humbucker because that'll be good. What is this? This must be the ground wire that goes somewhere, because this is the pickup. This goes to the output jack. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. See, this is all the things that you miss. Me entertaining myself when I'm speeding up all the video footage. Just being a total goofball. Working here, saying really stupid stuff to myself. Really trying to make myself laugh. Yeah, I'm a dork. Well, holy moly. Where did those pots go? Here we go. Beautiful. You know what? I'll put it in this box and then I'll mark the box. Bop. Ba-dop. Ba-dop. Oh. Thank you, Music Lily, for another Music Lily guitar pick. Pots. Epi 15K humbucker. That one didn't really show up. Let's do this. There we go. Epi 15K HB. Save for later. Okay. Interesting. So, the StewMac wiring kit for Les Paul and SG Juniors is assuming that you're doing the old-fashioned P90. And the P90 got a 500K volume and a 250K tone. I'm wondering if I should replace the tone knob. I should. It's a humbucker. Replace the tone knob with a 500K. It had a 500K in here. We'll replace it. We'll just do the wiring setup 50 style, but it will not be. Here it is, the 250K. Branded StewMac. What kind is this? It's a CTS. Okay, CTS. Is it A or B? I need to know these things. And here's the StewMac 500K for volume. Well, I can look at the tone knob here and let it tell me what it was. The volume knob was a B 500 and the tone was an A 500. I feel like that's normally reverse. I feel like the A's are typically volume and the B is tone. Could they have messed that up in China or wherever this was made? Let's give it a goog. This is also a plywood body. Stay in tune 10 through 46 Dan Box strings. Woo! That thing's fun.